All right, we're live.
Okay, got it.
You want me to turn it? Shut it off? I'll shut it off. No, we can plug it back in. As I was setting up, I was like, that might, yeah. I can plug it back. Oh. So when it's time, you come up here, the kids can,
Check 1, 2.
No, you can use mine. Yeah. Just give you mine. Either way is fine.
Where are we gonna have the kids stand? Where are we gonna have them stand? Oh, okay.
o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. Jessica, roll call.
Lentz,
Here.
Mullen,
Here.
Overberg,
Here.
Williamson,
Here.
Hampton,
Here.
Maher,
Here.
Husenga.
Here. Any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the agenda.
Motion to approve agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Lentz,
Yes.
Mullen,
Yes.
Overberg,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Hampton,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
Husenga.
Yes. All right. We're going to start off with our student spotlight, and we have a great group this evening.
All right. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you. We can have our students come forward, please. So Edie, Ray, Axel, Dylan. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for being here to help us celebrate a truly remarkable group of students, our multilingual learners who have officially exited the English Learner Services after demonstrating proficiency on the state English assessment. This is a huge achievement, and we are thrilled to share this moment with our school board, our staff, our families, and of course, our incredible students.
Buenas noches a todos, bienvenidos y gracias por estar aquí para ayudarnos a celebrar a un grupo de estudiantes verdaderamente extraordinarios. Nuestros estudiantes multilingües han demostrado oficialmente dominio en las 4 áreas de inglés, leer, escuchar, hablar y escribir, a través de una evaluación estatal llamada ELPA 21. En este logro enorme, estamos encantados de compartir este momento con nuestra junta escolar, nuestro personal, nuestras familias y por supuesto nuestros increíbles estudiantes.
So before we go any further, I'd like to give you a glimpse of what this accomplishment really means. Research tells us it takes 5 to 7 years, sometimes even longer, for a student to become fully proficient in a new language, especially academic language. That's the language used in textbooks, curriculum, classroom instruction, and tests. So when a student exits EL services, they're not just saying hello and thank you. They are writing essays, solving math word problems, and expressing their ideas in a whole new language, and that's a pretty big deal.
Antes de continuar, me gustaría darle una pequeña idea de lo que realmente significa este logro. Las investigaciones nos dicen que puede dar de 5 a 7 años, a veces incluso más tiempo, para que un estudiante domine completamente un nuevo idioma, especialmente el inglés académico. Este es el idioma que se usa en los libros de textos, las clases y los exámenes. Así que cuando un estudiante termina los servicios de inglés como segundo idioma, no solo dice hola y gracias, sino que escribe ensayos, resuelve problemas matemáticos y expresa sus ideas en un idioma completamente nuevo. Eso es muy importante.
Tonight, I first want to talk about what makes our program special here at Mount Pleasant. I'm joined by 3 wonderful colleagues who work closely with our multilingual learners. Let's take a moment to hear from them. I'm Michelle Dickey, and I am the EL teacher at Van Allen, and my para is Stephanie Santiago.
I am Mrs. Foss, and I am the ELL teacher here at the high school.
I am Yesenia Sosa, and I'm the ELL teacher at the middle school, and my para is Todd Mitchell.
And I'm Miss Lapp, and I teach at Harlan, the kindergarten students, and at Lincoln, 1st and 2nd grade. I have 2 paras. We have a bilingual para at Harlan, para Sally Schlesing, and we have a para, Ayla Armstrong, at Lincoln.
We also have incredible classroom teachers and support staff to ensure students have the support they need in and out of the classroom. Some of our staff are even bilingual, which is key to family partnerships and and ensuring families and students are informed and have a voice in their educational journey. We have families that are supportive and students who are resilient and have crushed language barriers.
Esta noche quiero hablarle primero sobre lo que hace especial a nuestro programa aquí en Mount Pleasant. Me acompañan nuestros colegas que ya lo presentamos. Ellos trabajan, nuestros 3 colegas maravillosos que trabajan estrechamente con nuestros estudiantes multilingües. Contamos con un increíble equipo docente y de apoyo que garantiza que los estudiantes reciban el apoyo que necesitan dentro y fuera del aula. Algunos miembros de nuestro personal son bilingües, lo cual es fundamental para la colaboración con las familias y para asegurar que tanto esta como los estudiantes estén informados y tengan voz en su trayectoria educativa. Tenemos familias que nos apoyan y estudiantes resilientes que han superado las barreras lingüísticas.
And finally, our administration and school board provide excellent oversight. They have provided opportunities for collaboration, professional growth, and teaching resources. Each of us plays a vital role in supporting, encouraging, and teaching the students we are honoring today.
Finalmente, nuestra administración y junta escolar brindan una excelente supervisión. Han ofrecido oportunidades de colaboración, desarrollo profesional y recursos didácticos. Cada uno de nosotros desempeña un papel vital en el apoyo, el estímulo y la enseñanza de los estudiantes a quienes hoy homenajeamos.
One of the superpowers of bilingual students is they often have a larger total vocabulary across their languages than monolingual students. For example, a bilingual student might know 10,000 or more words across both languages. That's a massive toolbox of communication, culture, and expression. And that toolbox doesn't just help in English class, it helps in every class and in life beyond school.
Una de las grandes ventajas de los estudiantes bilingües es que suelen tener un vocabulario totalmente más amplio en ambos idiomas que los estudiantes monolingües. Pero, por ejemplo, un estudiante bilingüe podría saber 10,000 palabras o más en ambos idiomas. Eso representa una enorme caja de herramientas de comunicación, cultura y expresión. Y ese conjunto de herramientas no solo ayuda en la clase de inglés, sino que también ayuda en cada clase y en la vida más allá de la escuela.
Now let's turn the spotlight over to the people we're here to celebrate, our students. Each of the students you'll hear from tonight has worked hard, grown tremendously, and reached a major milestone. They'll each introduce themselves and share a little about their journey if they wish, their goals, or what languages they speak.
Ahora vamos a destacar a las personas a las que hemos venido a celebrar, nuestros estudiantes. Cada uno de los 13 estudiantes que escucharán esta noche ha trabajado arduamente, ha crecido enormemente y han alcanzado una meta importante. Cada uno se presentará y tal vez compartirá un poco sobre su trayectoria, sus objetivos o qué idioma habla.
My name is Rosalie Munoz. I am in first grade at Lincoln Elementary. I speak English and Spanish. I want to be a nurse.
My name is Justin Moto Perez. I'm in second grade at Lincoln Elementary. I speak Spanish and English. When I grow up, I want to be a soccer player.
Noah Wade was not able to be with us tonight, and he is a second grade student who also passed the ALA.
My
name is Azel Sanchez and I'm in 3rd grade. Hi, my name is Evie and I am in 3rd grade. My family and I speak Vietnamese. I like everything about the English program. Thanks to the English program, now I feel more confident in reading and writing.
Valerie is a 4th grader. She is not able to be with us tonight. She speaks Spanish and English, and she's in 4th grade at Van Allen.
Hi, my name is Susan Guzman Perez and I'm in 4th grade.
Leah is a 5th grader and she was not able to join us tonight. Her family is from Mexico and they speak Spanish and English. Anna is also in 5th grade. Anna is a student ambassador. I felt important to call that out. She does morning announcements every morning and does a wonderful job speaking. She speaks Spanish and English and her family origin is from Mexico. Marjorie is new to our school. She is a 5th grader and she exited at her previous school and we felt it was important to include her in our presentation as well.
My name is Dylan Aguia and I'm in 6th grade and I'm 11 years old.
Hi, my name is Axel Perez Reed and I exited out of program.
Andy Posey is not able to be with us today, but he's in 8th grade and speaks English.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leona Pichifong, and I am talking a little bit about myself. I was raised and grown up in America, but lived around my grandparents. It affected me because it was difficult to separate the two languages. Because of that, I was put in this program to enhance my English skills. But now that I've exited the program, it has benefited me a lot. I'm able to speak more confidently, and it led me to be the IJEC president and a part of the student council committee. I believe the ELL program is helpful to exceed and help with your English in the future. And I am grateful for all of you guys to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you to each of our students. We are so proud of you.
Gracias a todos nuestros estudiantes y gracias a todos nuestros alumnos. Estamos muy orgullosos de ustedes.
As we close, I want to leave you with one last thought. Multilingualism is such a strength. Many employers and universities actively seek out individuals who can speak more than one language. So tonight, we're not just celebrating English proficiency. We're celebrating future leaders, global citizens, and students who have already shown resilience, intelligence, and determination.
Para concluir, quiero dejarle una última reflexión. El multilingüismo es una habilidad y fortaleza que muchos empleadores y universidades buscan activamente en personas que hablan más de un idioma. Así que esta noche no solo celebramos el dominio del inglés, sino que celebramos futuros líderes, ciudadanos globales y estudiantes que han demostrado resiliencia, inteligencia y determinación.
And to the school board, thank you for giving us the opportunity to celebrate tonight. Do you have any questions for us?
A la Junta Escolar, gracias por darnos la oportunidad de celebrar esta noche. ¿Tienen alguna pregunta?
After you exit out, what other participation then do you have? Or is there continuing, do the students help other students? How does that relationship work once you exit out of services?
By the state rules, once students exited, they're monitored for 2 years just to make sure that they stay current in their content area classes and that they're not slipping, and we can still give them additional support as needed. And yes, our students that have exited the program are always very helpful to our newcomers, especially. They're always willing to jump in and help. Is there anything you guys would add to that?
How many total students do you have in the program?
We have 150 total current students.
Is there any other help that you need from the school board?
Other help from the school board. We're currently seeking about a para at the high school level, preferably bilingual, but any para is super helpful. The load is big at the high school with about 50 students, and that's a lot. The element between Joy and I, we have about 30. Yesenia has around 20, 22, and those are manageable, but 50 is a lot.
I recall some brochures that I saw earlier of these 150 students. They really speak a total of 9 different languages. Is that many of you?
Yes, that's correct, 9 different languages, and you don't have to be bilingual in all the languages or multilingual in all the languages to teach them. We use English strategies and visuals.
Are there families that come from, are they also bilingual, or in many cases are they the ones speaking the most English?
It varies by family. Mm-hmm.
We have a number of family members here, many of whom are bilingual.
Is this a typical number that would have passed out of that, to help up?
That's a great question. I don't have a great answer. This is our first go at it. It kind of depends on the makeup of your student population. For example, if you have a heavy load of newcomers, you may not have as many exits, but then as those students become more proficient, you may have a year where a lot of students exit. So we're going to kind of feel it out. I'll be tracking the data to see what the trends are, and I might have a better answer next time.
Great job, all of you. It's not easy to stand up there and do what you're doing for anyone, so congratulations, and there is enough here to celebrate tenfold. Is there a party planned when you exit the program?
Yes, families of our multilingual learners, please meet us in the cafeteria if you're able afterwards to celebrate, yes.
Nuestras familias, por favor, vengan con nosotros a la cafetería. Tenemos unos dulces y agua para celebrar todos juntos. Gracias por venir.
Em đọc con hơn. Oh great, thanks for looking at the computer. Great job. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Always a tough act to follow. Do we have any citizen comments today?
No one contacted me to speak to the board.
All right, next up we have approval of minutes, claims, and financials.
Okay, we went through our actual claims for October on Friday at the finance meeting, and those are posted as well, and Jessica has our fund balances that she will go over.
Yes, this is not as exciting at all. So as we talked about last month, after we wrapped up all of our annual chart of account reports and balances that were due to the Department of Education, we do still, the balance did not change very much from last month. As you can see, it did change from last year. Last year we had $9 million roughly in the general fund, and now we are about $7.7 million. Student activity, year over year, we are up $301,668 over last year. I'm off the hook.
Yeah, okay.
So now that football season is over, all of the gate revenue collected at football and our fall sports are reflective in that $301,000, so I want to point that out. Management fund, we're sitting at $1.2 million. Last year it was $989,000. PEPL, 2.4. Last year, same, 2.4 this year, just a little bit down. But remember, we use this fund to do projects around the school in the summer, and we also use it for technology and software. Our capital project fund, which was the primary account that we used to build the RTM site, last year we had $3.9 million. This year, 2.3. And between PEPL and capital projects, these will be the funds that are going to be used to continue to do projects over at the central campus. Debt service, $119,000 last year, $127,000 this year, and then nutrition, $860,000 last year, $670,895 this year. I do want to point out something that we talked about a little bit in our finance committee meeting. I would recommend that you do not approve this finance report. There's a bit of a glitch in our student payment system that we're working on right now with the Infinite Campus software company, and it affects 3 of the funds. It affects the general fund, student activity fund, and nutrition fund. So I am not confident that these 3 numbers are 100% accurate. They should be higher. And once we can work out that glitch, which I'm confident that we should be able to do it this week, I'm working with our IT department, and they have a lady there that they work with, then I will send you an updated report, and we can go over that next month as well, and in our next finance committee meeting. So, does anybody have any questions? Okay.
You could, yeah, if you want to approve minutes and claims, you can certainly do that.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes and claims? Claims we reviewed at the finance committee.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Flint,
Yes.
Mullen,
Yes.
Overberg,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Hampton,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
Husinga.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to take a few minutes, and we went through these documents at the Finance Committee meeting on Friday. And I want to take some time, now that we have certified our enrollment, October 1 was the date we did our enrollment count. October 15 was the date that we certified our enrollment this this last month, October 15th. Enrollment in the fall of 25 will fund the school year 26-27. So fiscal year 27, we are currently in fiscal year 26. Our fiscal year starts on July 1. So when on July 1 of 2025, we entered fiscal year 26. So that is the year that we are in. When we close out June 30th, we will end fiscal year 26. July 1, we will start fiscal year 27. Okay? So what I want to talk about as per the agenda is fiscal year 27 fiscal projections, financial projections, and I would say beyond as well. We had conversation with the board about next year and beyond. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to share with you, board members, you have this in your packet, and it's posted online as well. This is the Revenue Estimating Conference. The Revenue Estimating Conference for the state of Iowa meets 3 times per year. The last meeting that they had was on October 16th, 2025. And these estimates are in the millions, so really you're talking about billions of dollars here. The actual in fiscal year 25, October, $10.7 billion in revenue. And the percentage change from fiscal year 24 to fiscal year 25. Now let me mention again here, the state's fiscal year starts January 1 and goes to December 31. So it's different than a school district's fiscal year. But the actual revenues taken in during that year's time from 24 to 25 were down 5.1%, from 11.2 billion to 10.7 billion. The estimates from fiscal year October 25 to fiscal to 26, a year's time, the estimate is that revenues will be down to $9.8 billion, or a decrease of 8% year over year. Now that's an estimate, of course, and then they also make an estimate for fiscal year 27. But when you get out that far, you know, it's you go that far out, it gets more difficult to estimate accurately. Both of these estimates, the actual was down 5% on tax revenue, and the estimate is down 8%. Now, why does this matter? It matters because the legislature will use these numbers, and they will meet, the Revenue Estimating Conference will meet again in December for a final time going into the legislative session. The December estimates is what the governor will use to propose her budget for fiscal year 26. And it's what the governor and the legislature will use to set state supplemental aid for school districts, the amount of dollars per pupil that we will receive for each student. Enrollment funds the school districts. So when you see reductions or estimated reductions in revenue, it's likely that state supplemental aid is going to reflect those reductions as well. So that's why the REC is important, and the actual tax receipts are important when it comes to setting state supplemental aid. So let me move on here, because what we can do now that we have certified enrollment, what we can do is start to run some calculations on what are the possible new money scenarios for our fiscal year 27. So we're going to start with our certified enrollment that we recently certified in October last month. Our certified enrollment, 1,705.21 is what we certified. That number was down just over 51 students. A decrease of just over 51 students. So if you take this figure right here, the per pupil amount that school districts receive, and if you said, we're going to increase state supplemental aid, we're going to increase it by 1% from the previous year. The amount that you would get then with a 1% increase is $8,068. I think that, if I remember correctly, the current year that we're in, it's $7,988, I think. But 1% would be $8,068. So the simple math, you take the number of students, multiply it times the estimated here, per pupil amount, and you get $13,757,634,000. That's what you call regular program dollars. RPC, regular program costs. I don't like to call it costs because I think it throws you off. It's regular program dollars that we would receive. Okay? Now, to start to calculate what new money might look like, we're going to take fiscal year 26, the year that we are currently in. Those regular program dollars are $14,035,715. And to get the difference between the current year that we're in and what we think next year might be, we're just going to take that same regular program dollar amount, we're going to subtract $13,757,634 from our current year's $14,035,715, and the difference is $278,081 less than the previous fiscal year. $278,081 less than the previous fiscal year. So now what we can do is calculate the budget guarantee amount. The state of Iowa has something that's called, you can either call it the 1% guarantee or the 101% guarantee. What it does is it guarantees you at least 1% more than your previous year's regular program dollars. Okay? So 1% of this right here is 140,357. So you're guaranteed 1% more than your previous year's regular program dollars. However, first of all, you have to get out of the hole here because you're already less, $278,081 less than you were before. So I'm going to take this amount and add it to the 1% amount, and that gets you your budget guarantee amount of $418,438. To get this dollar figure, your budget guarantee amount, to get the actual cash for that amount, you have to levy for it. You have to levy local property taxes to get that amount. That $418,438, to generate that on the valuation, the property valuations that we have currently this year, would be about 60 cents per thousand to get the budget guarantee amount. Okay? And so let's go back to now, we can add that we can add that 418 to the 13 million that we had earlier, and you're going to come up with $14,176,072, and we'll subtract fiscal year 26 regular program dollars from that, and the new money amount from next year is, as we already said, 1%. It's 1% more, $140,357, 1% new money. That's at a 1% state supplemental aid amount. 1% in a certified enrollment of 1705.21. So I want to go through just a couple more scenarios with you regarding new money. Do you have any questions on how we got there, how we, the calculations on all of that? Okay. So I'm going to go to this document right here. I do this one like this because I think it's easier to see. It's easier for me to explain and go through. They have a spreadsheet on the School Board Association website that you can just plug these into, and it'll give you the figures. So if we received 0%, if it was 0%, there was no increase in state supplemental aid. I'm going to go over here to fiscal year 27. I put in our certified enrollment amount of 1705.21, and I'll go scroll down here. Your budget guarantee amount is right here, where previously it was $481,000 at 1%. At 0%, it would be $554,935. So it's obviously going to take more than 60 cents to generate that amount. And that still is, it's 1%. You're on the budget guarantee at 1%. New money of $140,357. Okay? I'm going to do two more of these. If it was 2% state supplemental aid, fiscal year 27, 1,705.2 certified enrollment. 2% takes the regular program cost of per pupil amount to $8,148. It takes the budget guarantee amount to $282,103. So that, would take less than 60 cents to generate that amount. And again, even at 2%, you're still on the budget guarantee with new money of 1%. So I'll do one more. At 3%, given all the same calculations, the per pupil amount goes up to $8,228. The budget guarantee amount, you're still on the guarantee, but it does drop to $145,687. But as I mentioned, we're still on the guarantee, even at 3%. I did the calculations. To get off of the budget guarantee, you'd have to be somewhere over 4% state supplemental aid increase.
Is there a certain number of years you can be on the budget guarantee?
No.
The state starts carrying?
No, there is no certain number of years. However, if you see those declines, the baseline number, it just keeps going down year over year. So the reason that the budget guarantee is in place, it buys you a year of time. It buys you time. To make adjustments, they're saying, we'll guarantee that 1%. We understand you had a decrease in enrollment, and it gives you a year to make those adjustments.
Because you can choose not to take that, right? Keep your not tax.
You wouldn't have, no, you would not have to assess, you wouldn't have to assess property taxes for the budget guarantee. No, you would not.
So can you
for the year we're in, SSA last year ended up being 2%. So
2.1, I think it was.
and last year they didn't finalize SSA until after our budgets were due. So if we had a similar situation, we're going to have to go with what we're hearing, our best guess, right, and be conservative. But also to note that last year we had to set our budget without actually knowing what SSA was going to be.
This fiscal year, I believe 159 out of the 350-ish school districts in Iowa is on the budget
guarantee.
Did you come across any estimates as to fiscal year 27?
That's a good question. I don't know that.
I would imagine it would be a healthy increase.
Right. At 1%, how many districts are on the budget guarantee? At 2%, how many? But we can definitely. I can definitely.
It's probably
investigate
on
that.
IASB's website.
Yeah.
Somewhere. But I think that's going to be a pretty crucial advocacy tool to just keep reminding the legislature just how many districts are going to be on the budget guarantee next fiscal year.
Yeah, that's really. I'm glad you said that, Aaron, because the legislature. We all know the legislature has been very concerned over the last number of years and going into this legislative session, very concerned about property taxes. Well, the more districts that are on the budget guarantee, the higher property taxes are going to go, because it's a property tax to levy back for it. So I want to talk a bit more about our local finances and where we find ourselves in fiscal year 26. We recently, you guys actually last month approved the certified annual report, and so I want to just quickly take a look at a few of those numbers and try and help us understand where we're at as a district. What does the future look like as a district when we think about these finances? So this is straight from, I'll make this bigger, but this is straight from the certified annual report. It's a report of miscellaneous income and actual expenditures and total revenues. So I'll go over here and I'll make this a bit bigger. Our revenues for our total revenues for last year, fiscal year 25. And maybe now is the right time to mention the ESSER dollars, or the COVID dollars that we received over a number of fiscal years, they ended in fiscal year 24. So we expanded, we added some staff during that time, felt like it was appropriate to do so. Those dollars ended in fiscal year 24. So now we find ourselves, and going into fiscal year 25 last year, we, as a finance committee and as a board, we talked all about that. It was very transparent in our conversation that we're going to remain staffed as we are, and take a look at our finances as we go along. We had a healthy, and we have had a healthy unspent authorized budget. We've had a very healthy solvency ratio, and we've had a very healthy cash position as well. So we decided not to make any personnel changes, and so now we have the results of the certified annual report where our finances were last year. We're now into year 2 of letting things, personnel-wise, letting things move forward, right? We didn't make any reductions. Again, I'll just say it, I want to say it again, because we were in a good position with our unspent authorized budget, we were in a good position with our cash, and we were in a good position with our solvency ratio. So now, here we are this year, this fall, with the same staffing levels and down 51 students in certified enrollment. So we really now have to take a hard look at where we're at and what does the future look like for our school district based on SSA, based on enrollment projections. What does it look like? Okay? So revenue for last year, $23,823,392 in revenue. So revenue is based on our regular dollars, $20 million, $20.5 million, almost 20.6, and then miscellaneous income. And I want to point this out, miscellaneous income of $3,223,721. The reason that I want to point that out is because ESSER dollars are coded as miscellaneous income, okay? And so I want to show you where our miscellaneous income has been and where it is now, $3,223,700. So we had last year, we had revenue of $23.8 million, and we had expenditures of $25.29 million. So obviously, our cash position is going to go down. Our unspent authorized budget is going to go down based on expenditures over revenues. Okay? All right. So this miscellaneous income, I wanted to point that out, and I'm going to go to this report right here. This is the unspent authorized budget report, and we can now put our numbers in for fiscal year 25 and see what effect there was on our unspent authorized budget. So I'll go back here. This first column is 2018. Our unspent authorized budget back in 2018 when we closed out was just over $4 million. Then we were at 4.5 and 4.9. What that tells us is that our revenues were outpacing our expenditures by a bit, which is, it's a good thing. You don't want to see huge swings in that. You don't want to see, that your revenues are way outpacing your expenditures, because we're in the business of serving students. We need the money that we receive, we need to spend on students. So then, let's see, 18, 19, 20. Then in fiscal year 21 is when we started to receive the ESSER funding, or the COVID dollars. Our miscellaneous income went to 5.3, almost 5.4, then to 5.6, 6.3, and then in fiscal year 24 to 6.9. And you can see here in fiscal year 25, we went from 6.9 in unspent authorized budget authority to 6.1. Again, it's reflective of expenditures outpacing revenues, and those two things are based on SSA and certified enrollment. Our expenditures in fiscal year 24, $24.9 million, not a huge increase in expenditures to 25.2, but what I wanted to do and show you, that's why I was sharing, here's the miscellaneous income in fiscal year 25, here's the miscellaneous income in fiscal year 24. So the big difference as we look across time, and again, these are the ESSER years right here. We went from 3.191 to 4.1 to 4.3 to 4.7, and now back down to basically where we had been in miscellaneous income. So the last thing that I want to share with you tonight, to gain some perspective on all of this. This is actual enrollment versus enrollment projections. and board members, you have this in your packet. The state of Iowa, the Department of Education projects enrollment for upcoming years based on a number of things, based on the number of students who move from one grade level to the next corresponding grade level. They base it on live births, and they base it on kindergarten sizes, 5-year-olds. Okay, so actual enrollments versus projected enrollments. This is for Mount Pleasant. And if you go back to the projections and the actual here, in 2025-26, they projected us at 1,702 certified, and we ended up at 1,705. We've gone over these numbers before, but I wanted to go over it again, and you can see the projections. Here's 2026, 26-27, 27-28, 28-29, and finally 29-30. They go out 5 years essentially. So if these are accurate in terms of projections, then it's very important, it's critical that we take a look at our expenditures. The only thing we can control is our expenditures. We can't control the certified enrollment, we can't control the SSA. And so it's going to be very critical that we look at our expenditures going forward. Now, I'll go back up here. $6.9 million in unspent authorized budget to 6.1. 6.1 in authorized budget. Now, we're currently in fiscal year 26. I would expect another decrease in the unspent authorized budget at the end of fiscal year 26. I would say probably about the same amount, another $800,000. Puts you at 5.3. And so there's time to make the adjustments. It's not like we don't have to go to the SBRC for a workout plan. There's time to make the adjustments, but it has to be done. Any questions on financial projections?
So we have the information here tonight, and then we have set budgets. What happens in between? Does admin come to us with recommendations? Do we come to admin with recommendations?
Right. Yeah. So we talked about that's a great question, Josh. We did talk about that some at finance. We've used a process in the past that in working with the administrative team members, we've used a process to develop recommendations or at least potential budget reduction, cost cutting measures, savings. And what I told the finance committee on Friday was that after the first of the year, when we come back after the first of the year, it would be my intention that we, as an administrative team, we sit down together, we work, and we prioritize. There's a system that we've used in the past that states the problem. We develop priorities, and from there, we develop a list of potential reductions to bring to the board. I would think by February or March, we would have cost-cutting measures to share with you.
And then we would discuss as a board in a work session or just in a...
I would say so, yes, in a work session. I think it's obviously needs to be a larger discussion or a full board discussion rather than just a, a finance committee meeting. So, yeah, that would be my recommendation.
These reductions might still amount to $1.5 million.
Yeah, that's, in talking with Jessica, we think that $1.5 million would be an appropriate reduction amount.
Well, that's kind of.
You mentioned your lobbyist saying that the SSA projection rumor is going to be as low as it can get. How low is that?
0.
They really could go.
They could just freeze it, yes. Yeah, 0.
That $1.5 million is kind of a starting point when we look at population though, right? So that's just keeping us even with this year. And then next year we have potentially forecasted another 50 kids out. We don't know dollars or anything, but just assuming that's another 400,000. The year after that, like another 50 kids, that's another 400,000. So it's kind of a long-term, we have to, in my opinion, one larger chunk at the beginning and then forecasting it out, what can we do, 2-3 years kind of down the road based on enrollment population or enrollment. All that, I guess, just in my opinion, say the 1.5 is kind of the starting point. Gets us through 1 year, but expect more in the years to come as well.
Any other questions? All right. On to reports, instructional reports. You guys get to follow that. Hopefully there's some better news.
I'm gonna go last. Did you send me one?
We have the middle school team, Mrs. Zoris and Mr. Adams presenting their update.
Okay, there it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Orris is going to start kind of talking about something we're doing right now, current, and then I'm going to go back and talk about ISPP and last year's data.
Okay, so I'm hoping that I'm a little bit better news. So, last year, our BLT, which is our building leadership team, met most of the year, and we looked at actually academic data. So we looked at kind of like failing grades, seeing how we could intervene that way. Well, what we discovered is that really a student is more than just grades. So we want to look at the student as a whole. So we decided that we would actually start a new initiative, and it's called our Early Warning System, or EWS. So more or less what an early warning system is trying to catch the kids before they fall through the cracks. We want to be proactive, not reactive. So researchers have found that you can predict a student who is on the path of dropping out of school by looking at absenteeism, behavioral referrals, and course failure. If they are failing in 2 or more of these categories, usually they are in the path of not having very much success in school. So we knew as a middle school, we could start to kind of attack this problem a little bit. So our district leadership team actually has created 5 district goals, but these are 4 of them that I thought really our EWS, our early warning system, kind of impacts. So our first one is by the 25-26 school year, we will raise a 4-year graduation rate to 95%. By the end of the school year, 90% or more of our students will be in attendance 90% more of the days during our grading period. Also, 80% of our students will be proficient in math and English language arts. And also, we wanted to look at our SABRS data, which is like a survey that the students take, and it's really about their social emotional health. And so we wanted, kids are kind of labeled at risk with that.
And so we wanted to kind of look to see if we could drop that down 10% from the beginning to the end of the year. So our early warning system, more or less, we decided to look at academics, of course. We were going to look at attendance and behavioral needs. But at the middle school, we know that we are kind of the start to the end. We're kind of that next jump over. So we really wanted to look at our SEL because in middle school, social emotional health is really, really important. And also our tardies, just getting kids to class. So we knew that with these 5 target areas, if we focused in on that, we could probably impact our four out of the 5 district goals as well. So the BLT is decided that we would look at this overall, and then we'd look at these 5 categories, and we'd actually develop a rubric that goes along with it, and it's kind of a rating system. And so this is kind of what it looks like right now. So these are our categories that I just talked about, and then going across. Thank you. No, that's good. Yeah. So then going across, then we would give all of these categories 1 point for a kid that we thought was kind of at risk. So, for example, if we just look at grades, for example, we'll take just one of these categories. If a student was receiving 2 Fs, they would get like a level 2, I guess you would call it. And if they are all blue, of course, they're not really at risk, and they can kind of be one of those students that we know are going to be okay. But the more yellow and red that they have, the higher risk that they are. Go back to you can go to the next slide then. So really, more or less, we look at this data like every 2 weeks. So I look through and I look at grades, I look at attendance, I look at behavioral referrals. And any student that is kind of a red flag that I see that they are not being very successful in one of those 3 areas, they get kind of put on a list, and it's on a spreadsheet. And what we do is that we look at them. We as a BLT, we decide at like some interventions and everything that we're going to see if we can again, be a little bit more proactive so they do not fall through the cracks. So if you want to click on this, I'll just kind of show you what it kind of looks like, what our spreadsheet looks like. Oh, well, like maybe you can't see it. Okay, so it really does. It's so color coordinated and everything. So if you could see it, it would be like we would just have a student listed there, and let's say that they had a red in grades, and then they had a red in attendance. So we knew that they would have 6 points altogether. They might be one that we would look at. So we would talk about them as a team, and then we would decide, okay, what are we gonna do for an intervention? So for example, maybe possibly we would think, okay, well maybe our counselor could go ahead and meet with them like every single day. Then in 2 weeks, we look at that same kid. So we're looking at our data over a long period of time and not just one chunk. Because sometimes we look at kids and it's just one data point instead of across the board. So we'll look at that kid again. Let's see if that number has went down. So for example, the one that I was gonna show you had a 3 after they had a 6 and then they had a 3. So we knew that the intervention was working. We had one student that went from a 9 to a 14. We need to look at what we're doing, because what we're doing is not working. We're losing that student, so we need to intervene right away so that they don't slip through the cracks. So that's pretty much it, but we're kind of excited about trying this out, and the first few times that we've kind of met, it's kind of been good. Our conversations have flowed. I think our BLT members feel like they're really a part of this process instead of us just kind of delegating, that they get to kind of talk about the interventions as well. So, any questions?
Yep. So how many staff members are in your BLT team?
Well, we have one from every area. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, I believe.
You meet before school?
We meet after school. Okay. Yep, after school every other Wednesday. So from about 3:45 to 4:30.
And how many students initially come up in your warning system?
Our first, well, I'll tell you what, I wish I could have shown you, because our 6th grade is like, I thought for sure they would be our big hitters, but there was only like about 6 students. Our 7th grade had about 14, and our 8th grade only had about 6. So we can tell our 7th graders are the ones that are kind of falling through the crack right now, and that we need to really kind of be looking at that grade.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
At what point is there parents involved?
Sometimes parents are involved right away. That's kind of what we discuss. If it's attendance, I've already contacted them. So if it's attendance, a lot of times behavior, I've already contacted them. With grades, a lot of times the teachers already contacted them. So the parents are usually well aware, but if we see them going down the wrong path, they're immediately contacted.
What does the data collection look like for you? Do you guys get reports? Are you able to compile this pretty easily?
Yeah, not too bad. It takes me, I'm working on it. We're trying to get it figured out where it's more, the spreadsheet can kind of do its work on itself, but right now I'm kind of manually putting it in. So it takes a little bit of time, but now that I have kind of a baseline, it doesn't take nearly as long. The first time that I put them in, it took me a while to kind of figure out how it was going to look, but now it doesn't take so long. We can pull it from Infinite Campus pretty easily. Thank you. All right, thank you.
So I just wanted to take an opportunity to talk about Iowa School Performance Profile. I didn't know to what degree you guys were all familiar with the ISPP, so I'm just going to do a little bit of introduction and walk you through some things. So every public school in Iowa gets a score, a composite score, and a ranking yearly that we call the Iowa School Performance Profile. There are 12 indicators at the middle school and elementary school. Is this live? Is this a can? Yeah. Should be a link there.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
Yeah. It's live for me.
Okay. So this is public information, open to anybody, free. So just Google Iowa School Performance Profile, choose your district, choose your building, choose the year, and all this great information comes up, and you can spend a lot of time digging in. There are, as I said, there are 12 indicators that are down here a little bit.
Yeah.
The indicators are things like participation rates, attendance, growth in math, growth in ELA, proficiency in math, ELA, and science, and then if you have 20 or more English language learners, it also includes growth for English language learners. So there are 12 indicators. We get an overall score, and then that score determines our classification. See how much we're here. So our score for 2025 was 65.43. Click on that circle. The categories, you can see the percentages are here. There are 6 categories that schools are given in Iowa, from priority comprehensive, like high needs, to exceptional. If you notice, our score 65 would put us right in the middle of commendable, which is a pretty good score. However, the state also looks at subgroups. So subgroups for us are students with disabilities, students who are learning English as a second language, and students who are identified for free and reduced lunch. If a school is identified for any one of those groups, meaning that subgroup didn't meet a certain minimum threshold, we get dropped a whole ranking. Now, next year, if you have any of those groups that were on for 3 years in a row, you get dropped 2 rankings. So, hold that. So you will notice our score should have been commendable. We were targeted for students with disabilities, and so that's why we were dropped down to an acceptable level. I will say, excuse me, we've been targeted for students with IEPs ever since the ISPP has been given. Since 2018, many schools are, it's difficult. It's a difficult scenario because these are students who are identified as needing an IEP because they're not meeting standards. So we work hard. This year, the threshold was 42.37. That was the cut score for subgroups, and we scored 42.09. So it's the closest we've been. I'm really proud of that. It's a little bit disappointing that we didn't make it, but we are making really, really good growth, and we know areas that we're gonna work on. If you wanna see trends for a school, this is the middle school trend. It goes back to 2018. You can see the scores, you can see the rankings for all of the school buildings, and then you can see if we were targeted, for which group we were targeted. Any questions just on kind of the overview of the Iowa School Performance Profile?
Just to note, they changed between 23 and 24, it went from out of 100 to out of
Right.
700 now, so.
Right, they did, there's not been a single year where ISPP hasn't changed their metrics. So it's kind of hard, it's hard to stay consistent. However, when these originally came out, they were 65, 62, but then they went back to the 700s. So any questions about that before I move on? Okay, if you go back to the regular slides. All right, so I really just wanted to, I didn't want to dig too much into the weeds of ISPP. Again, the data's there, it's a great data. You can look at retention rates by building, you can look at suspensions, you can look at achievement gaps, you can look at per pupil expense by building, just a lot of great stuff. I wanted to highlight some of the middle school's data. This year was the highest score we've had since we started reporting. We outperformed the state average on 11 of the 12 indicators. 69.29% of our 8th graders scored proficient in science. We were 56% the previous year, so a huge jump there. 75.4% of our students scored proficient in math. 74.32% of our students scored proficient in English language arts. 83.21% of 7th graders were proficient in math. 80.77% of 8th graders were proficient in ELA. So we are super proud. I'm proud of the staff, I'm proud of the kids. Lot of good things happening. And I just wanted to I've already shared it with the teachers. We had a little ice cream sundae celebration, and I just wanted to share it with you. I put this together really just for fun, because I wanted to dig in and just see how we compared to other middle schools in our conference. So all of the Southeast Conference are on here, and I also threw in some other local schools that sometimes get our open enrolled students, just to see how we compare. Composite scores here, and I also just threw in the per pupil expense, just because I'm pretty proud of that. We are outperforming all of our local schools, and we're doing it with less money. So pretty cool. It's just a flex, really.
What are the asterisks for a few of those schools?
There are some schools that are middle school, high school together, and those three are. And I just want to make sure it's not exactly apples to apples. However, the high schools tend to score higher than middle schools, particularly on proficiency level. So I thought it was fair to put that up there.
Mark, I'd like to say your work doesn't go unnoticed. Since the time I've been on the board, the middle school was a weak spot, I think, when I started. The staff now enjoys working there, enjoys both of you, and I hear it. So thank you for putting this together, and you've done great work in the little time I've been on the board. So.
Thank you. We appreciate that very much. And it's a joy for me to work in middle school. It's a great place. I love it. And we work hard. We do work hard. Any other questions?
What kind of socks you got on today?
These are just boring ones. Just blue. I gotta up my sock game. All right. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
start off with the first item, the superintendent search update. We continue to get some resumes, applicants. I haven't sent out this week's update, it came yesterday evening. We had another applicant and 2 more in progress, so we're around that a dozen applicants or pending applications. As a reminder, 20 would be a good number to have. The search firm continues to say that we should see an uptick in that over the next several weeks. Iowa School Board convention's coming up. The school board elections just happened. The Thanksgiving holiday, first quarter's done, so we did hear our search firm, Brendemeyer, did seat their first position last month. The other finalist for that position is someone that didn't receive the job, did express some interest in our district and was going to visit the area over the weekend, so we'll see there. So things are progressing as we expected. So, any questions? All right.
Okay, thank you. Next item in the superintendent's report is the facilities ad hoc committee update. We have our second facilities ad hoc committee meeting is next week on the 18th. This Wednesday, November 12th, as requested by a number of members from the committee, we are going to go on a tour of the elementary buildings here in Mount Pleasant. So on Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we will start at Harlan Elementary. I've told all the committee members they can park at Harlan. We will have, I've arranged with transportation, we will have a bus and a van to take the tour. We have, I would say, between 25 and 30 people out of the 41 who are intending to go on the tour. I did offer it to board members as well, so you are welcome. I provided Cindy the posting, so she will get that posted tomorrow. So it's, in that sense, it's an open meeting. But we'll start at Harlan, about 30 minutes at each building. We'll go to Van Allen, and then to Lincoln, and then we'll head down to Salem. And then from there, we're going to head from Salem to Fort Madison Elementary. Fort Madison recently did a reconfiguration on their grade levels. 7th and 8th grade is now, as Mark mentioned, 7th and 8th grade is at the high school site, and so pre-K through 6 is at their elementary building, and they just opened up a new, within the last year was their first year in the new classrooms for their pre-K to 2 wing. So just to go take a look and give us some perspective on that grade configuration and what new facilities look like as well. So Dr. Murley is unable to attend on that night, but he's looking forward to being with us next week on the 18th. So that's an facilities committee update. School board election update, November 4th, the school board election. On November 12th, so the supervisors will certify the election on Wednesday the 12th. They won't meet tomorrow as they normally would because tomorrow is Veterans Day, so they will certify the election on Wednesday. After the certification, the new board member oath of office can be given at any time. I know Jessica is arranging with board members to come in and take the oath. It does not have to be done at a meeting, so Jessica will facilitate that. And then just a reminder that for brand new board members, within 90 days of taking the oath of office, they have to go through 90 minutes worth of open public meeting training and public records training. So there is a breakout session on Thursday at the board convention that will take care of that training, and there's also online training that can be done, and Jessica can arrange all of that as well. Speaking of the board convention, the annual convention starts next Wednesday, November 19, with the delegate assembly. Aaron is going to represent us at the delegate assembly. A number, I think Angie's going to go up on Wednesday to some sessions. I have a van going up on Thursday morning. We will leave early on Thursday morning to get up there for the 8 o'clock opening session, and then we'll come back on Thursday, late Thursday afternoon, the convention. Number 5, December 8th, regular meeting and organizational meeting. So we'll have our regular meeting on December 8th, and then following that meeting, we'll do our organizational meeting where we elect president, vice president,
set our committee meetings.
set our committee meetings, legal, council, publications, all of that will be done at the organizational meeting. Number 6, legislative update. Melinda mentioned we met last week as a Great Prairie regional group of superintendents. Dave Doughton with the School Administrators of Iowa. He's the lobbyist for SAI. These were just a few of the points that he made. We already talked about this, budget projections, at a 9% decrease in state revenue and a Medicaid shortfall. And these were his words. SSA projection rumor is as low as it can get. So, you know what, Melinda? I suppose they could reduce it, from the current year. I've never seen that happen in 20 years, but I suppose that, the legislature can do what they
I didn't
want.
realize how good we had it back in the days it was 4%.
Year over year. I remember those days. So, the Doge report, a couple of the things few of the main things that came out of that. Merit-based pay for teachers was a recommendation, and making sure more general fund dollars make it to the classrooms, fewer administrators. That's again, those were his words, and those aren't Dave's recommendations. That's just what he's hearing, when he talks to the legislators. That the legislature would do something with background checks to make sure that they include immigration status. Property tax reform is something that the governor really wants to get done, which again would have a huge impact on schools and the ability to bond, bonding, PEPAL dollars, anything that has to do with property taxes. The legislature will not pursue legislation for a statewide student information system. That's something that's kind of been hanging around for the last 3 or 4 years. We use Infinite Campus. Other districts use Power School. Other districts use something called JMC. They're going to leave that alone. They were talking about forcing everyone to go to one SIS. Already talked about new board members and receiving training on open public meetings and public records. They expect there will be some legislation on school safety. And I thought this was interesting. At least, I've never seen this brought up, but non-publics and athletic association classifications. So there's an idea to look at the success factor or to develop a success factor for non-publics and the success that they have in state tournaments, state championships, and then perhaps apply that to classifications when it comes to 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. So what does that look like? Mr. Stone is going to be on the classification committee, is that correct?
Surprise.
Okay. Well, I guess we haven't finalized that, but anyway, Mr. Stone was asked to be on the classification committee, so that's interesting. I've never seen that at the legislative level. All of those decisions have been made by the associations themselves in the past. So that's the legislative update. As of right now, we do not, and we haven't in the past, had work sessions in November or December. We are planning to convene the SIAC committee on Wednesday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. Here at the Media Center. And just a reminder that the Ready, Set, Govern School Board Association workshop, we will be hosting that on January 14th, right here in the Media Center. And that's the superintendent's report.
Any questions from Mr. Anderson? I would just note that December committee meetings will go with our normal schedule currently. So Thursday, December 4th will be site and policy starting at 5 p.m. at central office. And finance will be at 12:30 on Friday, December 5th at central office as well. On to board committee reports. The minutes in front of you. Anybody want to share? The finance committee meeting pretty much went as we already saw. There is
right.
Yeah. I would say the biggest conversation we had at site committee was around the metal building, which is coming up in new business.
Right.
We talked about snow removal. I have not purchased a shovel, but Mark said he's buying me a shovel. That's coming up in new business as well. Oh, and we did have a conversation about the activity center and opening it up, the walking track for public use, as we want to get that moving and open. So those conversations continue to go forward.
And I did schedule on Wednesday afternoon to meet with Mr. Lamb, Mr. Rogers, Mr. Lichty, Mr. Banghouse, Brandon Ridinger, to discuss the details now of opening up that walking track.
I would say
That'd be
that
great. I do get that question a lot.
Yeah.
the consensus kind of coming out of that meeting is that we could start with at least before school. Before instruction time hours, it would be a good starting place, as lots of afternoon activities do happen there. So our first priority would be to get a morning time slot
Carmel
solidified.
has theirs online if you want to look at what their procedure is. Gym situation.
Anything else from committee? Other board communication. Did anybody have anything they wanted to share?
I've got one thing I'd like to let all the other board members know. About 2 weeks ago, I was able to speak with a high school government class. Mr. Hunter Wright invited me in, kind of to go over what the role of the school board is, the responsibilities of a school board member. Really impressed with the questions the students asked. It meant that they were paying attention. And some of those students have come to some of these meetings for a couple different classes. The feedback that I got from them was that they enjoy being able to use the facilities at Central Campus. There was just that almost all choral night. The weekend before I spoke with them, several students in that class participated in that. The gym for practices, and then the cell phone policy. I wanted to ask them what they thought of that, because until they were seniors, they had always had some point of access to their cell phone. They said they liked it. They all said they liked the new policy. Didn't get anybody saying negative. The other thing would be iPads. They brought up the iPads versus laptops. With our current lease, I would ask you guys to look into seeing the options of going back to laptops for the high school.
If I could comment on that, Derek, we did, in a conversation with Brandon just the other day, he mentioned to me that, you know, Apple Corporation, you know, they see some of that writing on the wall as well, and they are developing a laptop that would be competitive with the price point of the iPads. So not application-based, but actually a laptop with a hard drive, but near that price point.
I know a little bit of it was the applications. It was also the comp class. A lot of typing is one part of that.
Can you explain the typing part? Because doesn't it come with a keyboard?
That's also what I told them.
It's not the same.
Right. We approved the iPads with that keyboard. I told them that was the only way I would have been in favor of it. It's not the same type of keyboard as a laptop. It's smaller.
It continues to take some getting used to. But it's not a full-size keyboard, so it is, I don't know how long it takes you to become as proficient on an iPad keyboard as it does a regular keyboard. I mean, we've been typing on regular keyboards for how long now, so it's that adjustment phase back to that, but
Is that the keyboard we have on ours?
yeah, it's small. Yeah, it's the same.
So just a few feedback things I wanted to let everybody know.
If I could, not knowing if I would get another opportunity as far as in the public goes, I just want to take a moment to thank Board Member Derek Mullen and Melinda Husinga for your work on the board. Coming on as a new member, it's meant a lot to have both of yours experience to kind of fall under and learn from. There wasn't a day that I've been on the board that I didn't know that you guys had every intention or had the student in mind with every decision that you made. So I just want to thank you for all the work that you've done with your time on the board. Melinda, you didn't have to be on the board. You stepped into a position that needed filled and stuck around for some hard decisions. So we have a large part to thank in both of you for the momentum that this district has gained here recently, and I hope that moving forward we can continue that on for you and take the work that you've done and build off of it. So thank you so much for your years of service to this board.
Thank you.
100%. I just want to echo, mine was coming later, but you opened, so I just want to echo that, Melinda and Derek. 100% student focused in the decisions that you've made. I've leaned on you, the both of you, throughout the last numbers of years, the hundreds of hours, literally the hundreds of hours that you have put in to serving the kids of this school district. And so personally, as the superintendent of the schools working for you, I just can't thank you enough for everything.
I feel privileged to serve the district.
Yeah, absolutely a privilege and an honor to have worked with all the board members that are currently here, the previous board members, and same to you, John.
All right, moving on to consent items. We have personnel and open enrollments. We can take those separately or all as one. Are there any questions on personnel and open enrollment?
I'll move to approve both.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jessica, roll call?
Blend.
Yes.
Mullen.
Yes.
Overberg.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes.
Hampton.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
Husenga.
Yes. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. And our first item is consideration to approve Aaron Williamson as the representative to the IASB Delegate Assembly.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Blend.
Yes.
Mullen.
Yes.
Overberg.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes.
Hampton. Sorry. Hampton.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
Husenga.
Yes.
Next, we have consideration to approve the contract with DeCarlo Court for the PEO Memorial Building demolition.
Okay, so the board members in your packet are the pages that I went over on Thursday at the site committee meeting. Again, now the full contract is here. If anybody the full contract is online. If anybody wants to see the full contract, this contract has been reviewed by our attorney. The pages that you have, substantial completion date of on or about December 15th for completion. The contract sum of $238,125 is what the low bid was, and that is the amount that is in the contract. So again, all of the language has been reviewed by our attorney. I would recommend that you approve.
Any questions or a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Blend.
Yes.
Mullen.
Yes.
Overberg.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes.
Hampton.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
Husenga.
Yes.
Next, we have consideration to approve the conflict of interest waiver for the city of Mount Pleasant.
So this is in regard to the potential sale of real property to the city of Mount Pleasant. Ours represents Mount Pleasant Community School District, and ours in some instances represents the city of Mount Pleasant as well. As I highlighted in your in the board packets there, the final paragraph, we believe confidently that our attorneys will be able to provide competent and diligent representation to each of their affected clients in this particular matter. So I would recommend that you approve.
Any questions? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Blend.
Yes.
Mullen.
Yes.
Overberg.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes.
Hampton.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
Husenga.
Yes.
Next, we have to consider a resolution to set a public hearing date for the sale of property.
So this resolution is to set a public hearing date for the parcel of property. And again, the legal description is here. I'm going to call it the metal building, formerly housing our central receiving Wisdom Quest, and for the next few weeks housing our buildings and grounds department. Again, full transparency. That property is part of the 307 East Monroe address. However, I have called it the 400 East Madison property because that is the mailing address for the school district, or the former mailing address for the school district, but it is part of the that city address of 307 East Monroe. So you would be setting the public hearing date for the potential sale of that property to the city for December 8th at our December 8th meeting. Now again, we had a lot of discussion about this on Thursday at our site committee meeting. The the sale amount is currently in the resolution at $116,000. The property was appraised at $115,850. So that's the amount of 116 that is currently in the resolution. Would recommend that you approve.
So the conversation last week was around the $116,000 sale price. Josh has let us know the assessed value is much higher than that. This appraisal was done last year. And there has been some sales and updates, and the assessment is higher. When we did originally start talking about this, we did discuss selling to the city for the assessed value, appraised value. That's where we're at right now. We do also know that if we wanted to have discussion, change it, we need to go back to the city. There also is the time factor that we have discussed with the city and the daycare, that the daycare does need a new home. So there is, if we decide to postpone or change, there is some impact there to consider as well. Josh, anything you want to add?
All comes down to that price. I want to sell the building. I think the 116 is just too low. We should go back. Get more, yes.
So what would you recommend? How much would you go for the assessed value?
We probably need a motion on this and then discussion.
So there needs to be a motion to approve the resolution to set the public hearing, this resolution. So in order to discuss the resolution itself, there needs to be a motion to approve it.
Can you change the resolution after you approve the resolution?
You could change you could strike the amount. We know, here's what we know after talking to the attorney. You could strike the amount from the resolution and approve it without an amount in it. However, once the posting goes out, the public notification of the public hearing, the amount has to be in that notification.
Which the posting has to go out
by the 18th. What's the?
No fewer than 10 days, no more than 20 days.
And the publication dates are
Thursdays.
So you have until the 18th to get the posting with a new, whatever price to the paper.
Which means we would have to meet again before then. Because we would still have to.
So we could approve the resolution. You're saying we would have to approve a posting?
Before the posting, because it has to have an amount, so we would have to then have another meeting and set a price.
So I can make a motion to approve this, what's striking the price out of it.
Yes, you could.
But we would have to get together again before the 18th to approve the posting with a price.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve this, striking the price.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that piece? Or the discussion has to happen. If this motion passes, then we have to have a meeting to have a discussion on what the price we would be, and also meet with the city.
Have we had anybody else show any interest in the building at any time since we've been discussing with.
We have negotiated, or our conversations have been exclusively with the city. I think it's accurate to say that that had been our intention, was to negotiate just with the city, based on the location of the property, their desire for it, the zoning for it. Again, we knew we could do that. We didn't have to put it on the market. We could sell exclusively to someone as per our attorney's instructions.
And the conversation at the October meetings, when the mayor and Matt Martin came with the daycare, that conversation was had as well, that with the sale to the city, that would also open that up for the daycare to be able to move into that building.
Right, with the intent of the daycare moving in to that space, the former Wisdom Quest space, the opportunity that the school district has to benefit, early childhood care for our town, which is going to be our students moving back into staying in the district. I see it as a win-win for the school district and the city. The other part of it is the Fellowship Cup would move into the other side. That is the plan that I've heard from the city. And again, I think this is a great opportunity, and at the appraised value.
I look at it as an opportunity for collaboration with another form of government. And hearing our financial report and what's happening with the state of Iowa with finances, I think the governments are going to have to rely on and cooperate with each other in order for things to take place. And this is for the kids of future students of Mount Pleasant Community School District. And there's a number of parents, families that this is affect if we do not go through with the sale. But I really look at it as an opportunity for collaboration with the city of Mount Pleasant down the road to improve our opportunities to work together.
I don't disagree with any of those things. I don't. I think the appraisal value is inaccurate. If the appraisal came back at, I'll even say 180, 200. No problems. Probably go with it. But I think the appraisal is just low, especially when you look at the comparables being from 2020. Real estate values increased between 2020 and when the appraisal was done in 2024.
And I see where you're coming from, and I don't disagree that given more time, we would have an opportunity to reevaluate this. However, we have been talking about this for a while, and it's kind of come down to the last hour here in order to help out the plan that is somewhat in motion for the daycare to be able to move out of their current lease and into a new space and time. I feel like we should have had this conversation a month ago. So with that, in order to ensure the timeline of Mount Pleasant Child Care Center adhering to, I would be in favor of keeping it the way it is.
Is there any other discussion?
I believe the child care center, they have to move by February 1st, is that what there is? If not sooner. And I also heard that Fellowship Cups will be going into the other part of the building. And feel we should collaborate with the city on both of those endeavors. And they've made it clear all along they were interested in buying it, but at the appraisal value. We've known that all along.
All right, the motion motion on the table is to approve the resolution with the striking of the $116,000. Roll call.
Lind,
No?
Mullen,
No.
Overberg,
Yes.
Williamson,
No.
Hampton,
No.
Maher,
Yes.
Husinga.
No.
With that, the motion fails. Would anybody else like to make another motion in reference to the resolution to set the public hearing date?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as stands.
With the $116,000?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any other discussion? Jessica, roll call?
Lind,
Yes.
Mullen,
Yes.
Overberg,
No.
Williamson,
Yes.
Hampton,
Yes.
Maher,
No.
Husinga.
Yes.
All right, next up is consideration to approve roof repair for Van Allen Elementary and Lincoln Elementary. We'll do these as one.
Yep, we covered both of these proposals on Thursday at the site committee meeting. This is really seam repair and roof drain repair at both Van Allen and Lincoln Elementary. The cost of Van Allen, $22,000 for those repairs, and the cost at Lincoln, $24,000 for the same type of repairs. I would recommend that you approve.
Any questions? Just to note, the repairs on both of those buildings are to the older sections of the building, not to the newer sections. They have different roof structures, so these are both the oldest sections of those buildings.
And the price is still valid.
Yes, the quote has a different date on it, but Chad did talk with Advanced Builders and the quote is still good. And we think that this work, pending weather, could still be done before the end of the year. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Roll call?
Lind,
Yes.
Mullen,
Yes.
Overberg,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Hampton,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
Husinga.
Yes.
Next, we have consideration to approve the snow removal bid.
So I just quickly wanted, as I showed the site committee on Thursday, the bid form included these maps of snow removal, and I included it just to show how much area we are pushing snow when we get a snow that needs moved. So we had one bid. It's a 2-year contract for the winter of 25, 26, and 26, 27. We had one bid. Sorry about that. We had one bid from Jim Barton Construction for anything 1 to 4 inches, $34.95 per push. Anything over 4 inches, $39.95 per push. Would recommend that you approve.
The other comment is that the school district, we ourselves do from the door 15 feet out.
Yeah, I should have confirmed that. It's 10 to 15 feet out from the doors is what we are responsible for.
Motion to approve the snow removal bid.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Any other questions on
This is good for 2 years.
that? Jessica, roll call?
Lind,
Yes.
Mullen,
Yes.
Overberg,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Hampton,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
Husinga.
Yes.
Next, we have consideration to approve the first reading of School Board Series 400, which covers employees. which we are not going to read individually.
No, there's a lot of policies there. I did review each of our current policies, and I reviewed the 400 series out of the school board reference manual. We did go through a couple of policies on last Thursday at our policy committee meeting, and I did hear back from Anna Harmon at Policy and Legal for the School Board Association. One of the things is the affirmative action plan. The School Board Association can provide an affirmative action plan for us. However, they're actually in the middle of a review of their affirmative action plan based on federal legislation that has recently happened. So once they're done with that review, we can take a look at that template, update it, and put that into place. The other two questions that you had, one was employee travel compensation, and again, this is, I believe I put this in your packet. The question was, there was language that said if the superintendent travels outside the district, then you have to get approval of the board president to do that. So the thinking was, well, you know, what if I'm going to the regional, or what if your superintendent is going to the regional superintendent's meeting in Fairfield? Do you have to have permission from the board president to travel outside the district? So her comments here, she really didn't address that. What she was just saying was that there probably should be something in place so that you don't have totally unchecked travel expenses. So what I did, you can tell me you don't like it, or you know, it works for you, but 401.7 is employee compensation, and what I did was I changed that language to say travel outside the district by the superintendent that necessitates an overnight stay or stays will be approved by the board president, which I think makes sense.
I would agree.
For the language that way. Okay. So that was the change there, and then, whoops, sorry, that's not what I wanted. The 400. So the other question that you had was gifts to employees, because the gifts to employees actually has in there that it's not considered a gift if you give something for a wedding, or a 25th anniversary, or a 50th anniversary. And so I asked that question, and she said, the response was, Iowa Code Section 68B.22 has a long list of gifts. So straight from the Iowa Code, the portion quoted in policy just happens to be one of them. That portion that I quoted her, wedding anniversaries, just happens to be part of that. The exact citation, she said, can be found here. So if it's part of the code, you know, if you want to approve it or take it out, it's up to you, but it is listed as acceptable in the Code of Iowa. So anyway, I don't know if you need to have a discussion on that, or if you want to approve a first reading with the change to the to the employee travel.
Is there a motion to approve first reading with the change to employee travel? Second?
Second.
Do we want to have any discussion? I don't. It was more, the question came up on why it was included, because it's Iowa Code, and this is fine. I don't necessarily agree.
Yeah. No.
Any other questions on, or comments on the 400 series? Jessica, roll call?
Lentz?
Yes.
Mullen?
Yes.
Overberg?
Yes.
Williamson?
Yes.
Hampton?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
Usenka?
Yes.
And our last item is consideration to approve some fundraisers.
So we have some fundraisers. Board members, you have them in your packet. We went over these. On Thursday, policy committee meeting.
Yes.
So 11/12 IJAG is a Pizza Ranch Tip Night. National Honor Society is a fun run this Saturday on November 15th. High School FFA is a soups and bags tournament this Thursday. And then the middle school had a couple of things. One was a coin war to assist families dealing with the hurricane that affected Jamaica. Sherry, what was the last this year? Is she still here?
No, she left.
Oh,
The coin war was for the Fellowship Cup, and the IJAG was collecting things for the hurricane victims.
Okay. Those are your fundraisers. Again, we discussed them at the policy committee meeting. I would recommend that you approve.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Flint.
Yes.
Mullen.
Yes.
Overberg.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes.
Hampton.
Yes.
Bacher.
Yes.
Senka.
Yes. And I adjourn meeting at 8:00. The presentation, there are treats left at the table there. If you'd like some snack or
Pumpkin bars or something like that, they're all there.
please partake as you leave.
Hey Craig, are you interested in going to the board convention on Thursday? That Thursday, the 20th? No, I won't. Not be able to. Okay. You already set up your email. Did you set up your school email? Okay. So if you go